The most misunderstood part of this is that people think to be efficient, you have to build in the factory a volumetric unit and deliver it to the site, as opposed to a built-on-site system, which is far more efficient and low cost than a factory manufactured volumetric product with the factory overheads already in there being shipped to the location. There's no screws. It's seamless. Look how clean that is. I just think about the built-on-site system, design it any way you like on paper and roll it out and assemble it. Step-by-step instructions, very simple. My name is Viken Ohanesian. I'm the CEO of Boss Homes. Standing here in front of our Boss Cube 340. We're in our manufacturing facility in Dubai. And today we're going to cover our built-on-site system homes, and in particular, our Boss Cubes, been designed for the homelessness crisis. We're going to see our manufacturing facilities, Cube products. We ship containers from Dubai to LA to New York every day. Service customers like Home Depot and Lowe's with sheds and cabin homes. The Cube 340, it's under $10,000 a bed, $33,000 and up from there, depending on the actual features like craneability and so on. Yeah, this model is a $38,000 unit.
Just to kind of get some history here, because so Harwal Group.
So Harwal Group was founded in 1937. My grandpa started it. My father started it. It's a large manufacturing conglomerate focusing on building products, consumer products, home improvement products. We have specialized in building materials, and we manufacture sheds and cabins and homes and buildings and warehouses. We've launched Boss Homes 4 years ago now. It's about revolutionizing how homes are built in the world, upgrading the conventional stick-built home system to a combination of factory manufactured and built on site with builders and track homes. The Harwal Group is a building materials manufacturer. Boss Homes is essentially taking all the building materials that we manufacture at Harwal, whether it's doors, windows, pipes, walls, roofing materials, all the different components, and combining them together in a solution to deliver affordable housing. In building homes, what we found, building materials suppliers ship lumber, cement board, drywall, siding, insulation, all the pipes, all the components, one at a time to the job site, and everything is put together on site by contractors. Fundamentally, it's still building a home layer by layer, one building material at a time. And what we're doing is we're saying, how can we take the construction time, let's say of 12 weeks, and collapse it down to 2 weeks? It's a combination of on-site building with the system completely pre-designed and manufactured in the factory at mass scale, so that build the product quickly and efficiently on site. A little background on Harwal Group as a company. The site we're in today it's an 800,000 square foot campus. It's a 300,000 square foot manufacturing facility. Our business at Harwal is mass scale manufacturing. We build thousands of homes, buildings, cabins, and sheds every single month. The Harwal Group has about 40 divisions, and we have manufacturing in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Tijuana, Mexico, in China, Los Angeles. So we have manufacturing facilities around the world. And then we have distribution centers in the East Coast of the U.S. In LA, of course, is our U.S. headquarters is in Los Angeles. The finished product is like a normal home we would design. It's just the components and the elements that we use. And it meets all structural building codes, meets the California Title 24 energy codes, fire rated, FM approved. We're trying to standardize systems so that we can deliver a built-on-site system that's pre-thought, pre-engineered in the factory, pre-designed, and laid out, and then when we go to the site, it's just putting them together in the most efficient way possible. Business unit, Boss Cubez. We launched a whole new division, which is all about rapid, scalable, and affordable housing systems for the homeless. A cube type of a solution that we can deliver quickly and develop communities. Now, what you see is our Cube 170. This is an 8.5 by 20 unit, and it's got 2 bedrooms. A list of some of our cubes. Our Cube 64, which is an 8 by 8. It can sleep 1 person or two people. The most popular are the Cube 64, the Cube 170, and the Cube 340. And on the left, you can see some of the layouts. 8.5 feet, because that's the maximum size that you can transport without being an oversize on normal roads. The units can be redeployed. So once you assemble them on site, and let's say you want to move them, we've designed it such that you can have them be craneable and relocatable. So while the first iteration is built on site, but moving the community or going from place to place, you don't have to break it down and rebuild it. All you do is you just take it, lift it, put it on a flatbed, and move it around. People that we're working with right now in this space, Dignity Moves, a nonprofit developer of communities, Habitat for Humanity as a general contractor to assemble units. Life Moves, they're a service provider with 112 beds. A bedroom has private entrance with power, air conditioning, heating units, smoke detectors, and in the community, centralized dining, bathrooms, and laundry. We're looking at building as many transitional housing communities with service providers transition. This is a project right now we're proposing to Santa Barbara County. How we start the project. A plot of land is identified. We designed the community. The picture shows you. We can build bathrooms, but what we found to be more efficient is to rent the bathrooms, bring them in, depending on the timeline of the project. A lot of these are done in dead parking lots, or it's not clear what's going to happen with that plot. So they're more of a temporary nature.
Kind of the reusability of this, where it's built around the framework that it's going to be built on the first site and redeployed for several sites after that. These are just like kind of kit of parts of a whole village. You're just like focusing on the shelter piece of that kit of parts.
This is the fastest, most efficient way to build the community. The service providers are so important as partners in this journey. We partner up with Dignity Moves, who's the actual developer, with a general contractor like Habitat for Humanity to actually build these, and then Life Moves, a service provider, to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
You're democratizing the building process.
Exactly. We make it Lego-like to just come together quickly and efficiently, and really anybody can do it, And then the MEP is different, we try to keep the MEP design as simple as possible, but that's where you need the general contractor to come in and say, okay, let's hook up all the electrical lines to a power box. Okay, that requires live hookups. You need an electrician for that. But the assembly of it can be fast, relatively low skill work. We're eliminating all the costs of doing the on-field expensive work, okay, because on-field contractor labor is expensive, okay? Yeah. And also, on the other hand, factory overheads are expensive. So what you want to do is you want to get the best of the factory, okay, and minimize the factory overheads and use the cheap factory labor. And you also want to maximize the use of the on-site space on land, on location, while minimizing the construction time. So we take both worlds and we're optimizing both worlds. And that's what the built on-site system is all about. Majority of the parts we're using are Harwall Group built products. Windows, doors, the walls, the roof. The majority of the parts that we're using are Harwall Group product. We can reach out to third party. We have great vendor relationships, and we can buy whatever is needed. We're talking to the city of LA now, San Francisco, also San Gabriel Valley. There's many different applications, but really the focus of Boss Cubes, first and foremost, is to address the homelessness crisis. Boss Homes is our overarching company, and then Boss Tiny House is a division, Boss Cubes is a division, and Boss Homes is focused on custom builders, home builders, contractors, and the conventional housing. You can visit our site on bosscubes.com. You can see all the different cube offerings. Walk outside, and right now we're outside of our building, again, outside of the showroom. This is our Cube 340. In the 4 units, 2 of them, I've shown them with windows, and 2 of them just have the door with the window. So that's an option in our design and how we can do that. This is an 8.5 by 40 unit, 20-foot units next to each other to develop an 8.5 by 20 by 40, 60 or 80. We can just stitch them up next to each other according to the layout. So it gives us a lot of flexibility on how we can lay out a community. Let me take you through the actual unit. This is, here's a table with a chair, a bed. You have your overhead air conditioning heating unit, your outlets. This is just a typical size of this is an 8.5 by 10-foot room. So about 85 square feet inside of this unit. You take away the walls, it's probably in the 80 square foot range. You know, it's a comfortable size room, as you can see. You know, it's a nice, comfortable room. And in particular, what I want to point out, look how clean the unit is, okay? Look at how all the connections, the roof, everything is just assembled together. They come together. You have your windows, they can open up and down. We can do crank windows, sliding windows, whatever it is the design calls for. It's so easy to assemble and put this together on site. It's really unbelievable. And the secret is all in the panels, and you're going to see that in the manufacturing. This is, you're looking at our standard panel size right here, which is about 3 feet, okay? And then the last panel is cut in half so that it meets the 8.5 foot size. And on the front here, these are 3 standard panels next to each other, and the door is in one of the panels, the window is in one of the panels. That's the beauty of the built on site system, is that the actual window is in the panel, and the panels just come together as individual blocks, and they're just like, they Lego together. The ceilings are the same panel. It's of course a ceiling design, a roof design, but it's the same type of structure where the ceilings just come together and they just lock into each other, and they overlap into each other. So it's like the magic is in the simplicity of the panel. It comes as part of the wall. The window comes as part of the wall. So when you're putting it together, you're literally, all you got to do is put one wall next to the other, and it's all, you just assemble it on site.
Yeah, like a Lego piece. You're not taking a drill to it afterward.
Exactly. We want to minimize that work. Double bedroom that we're going to go into. Okay, and here's another idea of you have drawers, and then you have double beds here. You know, 2 people can sleep in this unit, and again, the same internal space, whatever you want to do with that internal space. And in this particular case, there's no window. If you look at it, the window is right here.
Oh, got it.
In the door, you know, and that's the beauty of having a door with a window in there, that it gives you light, it gives you privacy on the bottom. You see how that's filtered on the bottom where you get the privacy, and also security, where anybody from outside can come in and just check on you in case you need to see what's going on the inside from a security standpoint. Bottom part is all blocked out but it's reflective enough where it gives you privacy. Take a look at the foundation below. So we provide the entire foundation. So as long as we have dirt, we can just go ahead and put the foundation on the ground. In this unit, they chose the option of making it craneable. So take a look at these hooks. So this can be lifted and put on a truck, so it can be redeployed. So that's an option that's available. Depending on the specification you're looking for, if you want it to be redeployable, where you can lift it on a crane, what we do is it's in 20-foot units. And then we just take 20-foot units and then we stitch them up next to each other. So it's very easy to lift. You put them next to each other. So you have dirt. We put the steel framework that's 6 inches. Okay, so it's off ground, like a container would be. You actually put the panels right onto that steel framework. You build the panels right on there, and then you put a flooring on the inside, and the flooring can be cement board or plywood, and then you cover it with a linoleum or some kind of flooring material. Like, we usually use like a dark wood laminate that we just lay on top, and you're done. It's very simple. It's all screws. It's all screwed in together. So in the 8.5 by 20 unit, if you want it to be craneable, that one we pre-weld the 8.5 by 20 lengths in the factory. So you get them on site, and with just a few nuts and bolts, you assemble the entire structure. On the exterior, you have a durable steel, okay, and we're using galvanized steel structure that they use in warehouses and buildings. This is galvanized. It's not going to and pre-painted, and then it's very durable. We use the same material for roofs. The roofs are also made of galvanized steel, and now if you follow construction, that's really coming into the mainstream. Instead of using roof shingles that you have to replace every 20 years or whatever it is because they start rotting, they're using galvanized steel standing seam roofs. That's the roof system we're using, a corrugated type of a design. The best material you can use on the outside from a durability standpoint. Inside of the panel, you have, we're using polyurethane. It's the highest insulating material that you can have. In 1 inch, you have an R7 insulation factor, and it's what they use in refrigerators. So 2-inch wall, you can get an R17, an R14 in the roof. We have an R24 value roof rating. It's a 4-inch roof, so it gives you a lot of insulation, really refrigerator grade type of insulation in the panel. And then on the inside, what we have is we have a plastisol coating, which is like a soft vinyl type of a coating that makes it feel like drywall. It's a combination. That's the actual sandwich panel that we're using. The difference between a SIP and the panels we're using, like a SIP uses wood on the outside, a SIP uses polystyrene for insulation, foam, and then they use wood on the inside. Now you got to weatherproof the wood, you got to paint the wood, seal the wood, and then you got to drywall the wood on the inside. What we're doing is, in our panels, the outside is finished, the inside is finished, and the walls, instead of using polystyrene, which is an R factor of 2, we're using a polyurethane, which has an R factor of 7. Every inch gives you 2.5 times the insulation factor that polystyrene has.
Out with the old. Wood is old-fashioned now.
You know what? The problem with wood is it requires a lot of finishing.
Yeah.
And it's layer by layer, old construction methodology. So we're coming into the new age of materials, pre-painted steels, galvanized structures that can sandwich into each other. I mean, this is really the modern construction. And if you look, actually, all the commercial buildings throughout the U.S. have abandoned being constructed with wood. and they're all built with light gauge steel framework and structure as the core. So what we're doing is we're actually bringing that into the residential housing and the normal construction industry, painted in the factory. So it's already done. The coils are pre-painted. So you don't need to worry about the on-site painting or finishing anything. It's not like a piece of wood. It's just the coil comes, and when we walk in the factory, you'll see how it's all done. So you just put the walls together, and it's like building a Lego. You know, when you build a Lego building,
the Lego analogy,
you don't worry about painting the Legos.
Yeah,
you know?
the Lego analogy actually works. Yeah, you're not drilling
absolutely.
the Legos, you're not painting the Legos. They come in a set. You can build the Legos in any shape you want.
This one is a pent roof. If you notice, there's a slight angle to it.
Okay, yeah, I did notice that. So there is an angle.
Yeah, there is an angle to it. If you notice, there you go, a slight angle. And in fact, I'll go to the side of the building here to give you an idea. You know, now you can see. That's why we lay it all out up front, you know. And look at the cleanliness. Look at how clean this is. Just the panels coming into each other, you know, a clean, modern look with clean lines. You don't have, like, in some of the other products, you know, especially when you're working with layer by layer, you have a lot of screws to fasten things. Look, there's no screws. It's seamless. Look how clean that is. There's no screws. There's nothing projecting. Everything is clean, seamless, a perfect surface.
And speaking of seamlessness, so waterproofing, the roof panels kind of snap together, and you put on this
they overlap
steel sheeting.
The overlap mechanically waterproofs it. When you put in the screws, there's washers, so you don't have any of that. If you look at the roof, any rain and so on just runs off the roof into the front gutter area and runs off to the side of the building. This is the back of the unit, just to give you an idea. This is like a split unit that we have, the air conditioning unit, okay? And that's what feeds the air conditioning right into the unit. The heater, AC, gives you everything. All the electrical runs through the foundation, and it's all Romex lines, and they go up right into the walls. So that's how we handle the electrical. Very simple.
Windows in the backside there too, and get ventilation through the unit.
Yes, you can. You can put the windows on any. That's the nice thing about the built on site system. You can design it any way you like on paper, and then you can just roll it out and assemble it. Step-by-step instructions on how to get it done. Everything is encapsulated in the walls and the roofs and in the design, and we assemble everything in the factory as components. So when they come up together, it's literally like putting Legos. Our units here are reviewed and wet stamped by California certified structural engineers. Depending on what state you're in, we can get the wet stamp. That's not a big process, and that's required for any construction, anything you build.
As green materials, other than the panels that you're standing in front of, like
really the polyurethane. We have a portion of the polyurethane that is recyclable. We can reuse polyurethane to a percentage back into the wall panel. These are pallets destined for projects. So this is how they stack up. These are all the walls. Exactly. This is one pallet, one job with cam locks. You have all the walls, all the roofs on pallets, and then you have all the accessories shipped out together. The 340 requires
two steel chassis,
6 pallets between the walls and the roofs. And then you have a pallet of accessories. Now we're entering the factory. Okay, this is our one of our laminator lines.
These are all the raw inputs.
This is to show you the whole process. So there's the steel, there's the coils, okay? Those are the sheets of the steel. And then now they're rolled, the steels are rolled
You see how you get it has a shape?
Is that like the sandwich machine that you're walking by right now? That's where the
Yes,
the couple
absolutely.
panels are
The edges,
rolled.
the edge tape is laid on it. We're applying the foam right there. You see that foam? And it's cured through the tunnel. And it's baked in.
It's like baking a cake.
Like baking a cake. And here it is coming out the line right there. This is the robot that takes it off the line, actually, because these are heavy. These are like 16-foot long panels for a project that we're doing. How it's put onto pallets, and at the end it'll get loaded onto a wood crate, framed, and shipped. This, if you go close, all right.
Okay, yeah.
You have basically the polyurethane. You have the steel layers on the inside, the outside.
And then those grooves on the side, is that how they're sliding together?
Yes, they're tongue and groove, so they seal into each other. They connect into each other, and that way you have no air, water, anything that can come through. You know, the receiving end. This is the roof. You see the roof and how it's got how the roof has an overlap.
Oh, yeah.
You
Wow.
see that metal on the edge? It's got an overlap, so they overlap onto each other. The technology is established, but we're applying it into this world. From one of the building departments we were speaking to, a solid product, well engineered, and you guys have addressed all the issues. And you know, ultimately, any city is going to want to see a structural engineer's wet stamp, and we provide that with every one of the units that we're building. What we found is that we save 25-35% as compared to doing it in the factory and shipping out a volumetric complete cube. We have guidelines on how these should be installed, and the factory gives warranty on its products, so you don't need to worry about that. As far as the manufacturer warranty, a 10-year warranty on manufacturing defects on the product. The thing about this system is that you have a product that's manufactured and comes with a warranty from the manufacturer, and then when you come to the assembly, it's done on site by the contractor. Contractor is responsible for the assembly side of it. The components are intelligently designed. When they come together, you have the finished product. It's clean, it's seamless. You don't need to worry about anything else. And it's just built as a system and a complete solution. And there's really no part that there is to worry about. The whole system just comes together, and you follow the manufacturer's guidelines, simple assembly, and you're done. The timing perspective, typically 8 weeks is the time after we finalize the design and approved everything for delivery to the job site. It's a 6-week lead time on shipping. The remaining time is for the manufacturing. Manufacturing, as you saw, is really quick. Once we design it, then we have mass manufacturing capability. We can build thousands. Everything can be designed according to the community that we're going to be in.
What would you say is the most innovative aspect?
The built on site system, unequivocally. The fact that we've established building it on location without the big overheads of the factory, and having the factory work focus on mass production of complete wall units is the most efficient way and the lowest cost way and the fastest way to construction.
Really appreciate the tour today of the Boss Cubez.
Thank you so much, Charlie. This is great.